that we are in a process of transition, and we are getting used to it. And the best way to cope with any change is to think positively about it. Create in your mind the visualization, what I call is a positive visualization. And once you have a very strong positive visualization of the future, and of course starting from the present, and maybe things will become much better than it was for us earlier.
Yeah, we have to, I guess, I mean, that would help to stay, you know, in these times, to stay, retain a semblance of positivity is important.
Not only semblance, it's like you internalize that, okay, things are bad. Well, we have some problems. Every time we go through life, maybe there's some pain here, some pain there. Pain will be there. Without that, you cannot enjoy the good things also. But should have a positive outlook that that at least the world is becoming a better place. My belief is my strong belief, and many people may not agree with it. I have this strong belief that this world is becoming a much better place over the years, though we would wish to have a more accelerated pace. But it will come and go. But maybe after post-COVID, all of us will look forward for a much better world, much more human world, I would say, much human world, better in a slightly different, more human, more concern for each other, for others. And I think that's what will be our takeaway.
I think it's taught everybody to slow down.
Yes,
I agree. That's true. Yeah.
So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 7th episode, season 1 of Heart to Heart Talk series. This event was conceptualized to bring back happy memories of the good old days at IRMA, memories that will rejuvenate and bind us. We aspire through these talks to reconnect with our professors, many of whom left a deep impression on us. We want to hear about them about their experiences at IRMA, their journey in shaping the institution, and a peek into how their engagement with the institution shaped them. These anecdotes and insights, we believe, will add to the institutional memory of IRMA and help especially the younger batches relate to how this institution evolved over time. All right, so for the 7th episode of season 1 of a Heart to Heart Talk series, we are privileged to have amongst us today Professor Shashwat Biswas. Professor Biswas is a professor at the Institute of Rural Management, Anand, and he has over 30 years of experience in research, teaching, executive training, consulting, including industry experience. He's been a consultant to several organizations. He has conducted a large number of executive development programs in India and abroad. He has been a visiting faculty in several universities, including the University of South Australia, G.B. Pant Institute of Social Science, KIT University, etc. He has authored over 50 research papers, published in refereed journals, book chapters, working papers, monographs, and presented in several conferences and seminars in India and abroad. He was the founding chief editor of the International Journal of Rural Management, SAGE Publications. He is on the editorial boards of several scholarly journals, and he is a member of different national and international academic bodies. Now about Professor Biswas's family. Professor's better half, Dr. Urmi Biswas, is a professor of psychology at the MS University, Baroda. His elder son, Sushman, is a content manager with an artificial intelligence company, iTech Solutions. He is also about to complete his MA journalism. I request you all to please mute your mics. He is also about to complete his MA journalism from the University of Sheffield, UK. Professor's younger son, Devpriya, fondly known as Chandan, is writing his CLAT tomorrow. So we wish him all the best. So you started your career at IRMA at the young age of 28. And you began with teaching quantitative techniques and then IGB, individual and group behavior. And over the course of 3 decades, you have come to be known as the go-to person for anything on behavioral studies. There's IGB, consumer behavior, OB, subjective well-being, and of course the happiness index that you've designed. From the cooperatives perspective, your work on member centrality is something I know of, and it's extremely admirable and insightful. You've also submitted the proposal for the doctoral program at IRMA back in the 90s.
I was not yet 28. I think I was going to become 28 when I joined IRMA. I was 27 something, and I joined 1st June, and just 15 days after that, or 10 days after that, the induction fieldwork students were coming in. I think induction fieldwork was going to start. And of course, before my joining, I had heard that IRMA has embarked on a huge project, understanding cooperatives. So anyway, that thing can come later, but what happened, I'll tell you. I joined, and immediately I was told that induction fieldwork will start in a week's time. Of course, my wife had not joined me because she was busy submitting her PhD thesis, and my eldest son was on his way. So I had left her there. She stayed back with my parents, and I had come alone. And so I was staying in the hostel, I block. I remember, first thing I did, I entered into I block. So in a sense, I have also experienced the IRMA hostel life, at least for 3 months. And so I went for the field work. That was with 92 batch induction field work. It was a very new experience for me. And why it was new, I should tell you. In fact, when Professor Tushar Shah, before my joining, I was selected, but those days there was a system of going to meet Dr. Kurian. Before you have an interview with doctor, you cannot join IRMA. So that was as a faculty. So all faculty members had to be interviewed by Dr. Kurian. So he was taking me to Dr. Kurian, and he was very apprehensive. I do not know for what, but very apprehensive. I should not commit. He was always worrying about I should not commit any blunder there in front of Dr. Kurian. Then he asked on our way to Dr. Kurian's office, he asked me, "Have you ever lived in a village?" So I said, I have not lived in that sense, but I was I was posted in a rural branch in Allahabad Bank. And that rural branch was very close to my city, Cuttack. It was on Paradip line, a small village. So I used to commute basically. I said, yes, I have gone there. I thought that if it is very important for my job, rural experience, so I should also say this. So I said, yes, I was in rural area in a branch. And we went, and anyway, I'll not talk about my interview with Dr. Kurian, that may come later. But what happened, I was asked to go to the village. And let me tell you, this is a confession I'm making. That was my first experience staying in any village for overnight stay in any village. I have been to villages, but it was all touch and go. My PhD was on district cooperative banks and regional rural banks. So I used to go to those banks, collect data and come back. And for me, till that time, village was where you collect your data from. They are very good storehouse of data, and you can do something as a researcher with that data. I hope you understand. And when I stayed, I have a very good, very happy memory of that time. I think I spent about 7 days. And we went to Professor Rajesh Agrawal, some other, I think Sri Ram was also there. So we went to three different villages and stayed there. And I tell you, it was also a turning point in my life, that those 7-8 days in the village, staying with the student, having the food they're having, sleeping that we were given, there was an underground bunker in that where the DCS was housed. and it was all dark during the daytime. So after our lunch, we'd get into the, because it used to be very hot. I remember it was very hot. So we used to get into the bunker, and only after 5:30 we'll get out of the bunker and then go out. And one of our students, fieldwork students, he saw a ghost also. In those days, he saw a ghost and all that. And I think that was, I think it changed my mind also. I had not, before that, I had seen poverty, I had seen people. That's not a big thing, because if you are an Indian and you are here, poverty is all around you. But there's something else was also there. It was not just poverty, it was the warmth of the people. It was that sort of, we were all total strangers. But one household after household, they opened their doors for us. We did not do anything for them, just good nature. And I think it struck me somewhere. In the cities, you will not find it. That was one part. And second, that's the time we were, what Professor Tushar Shah led us to something, one of the, I think, the biggest conference that IRMA ever had, international conference on cooperation. And Professor Balaji was there. Professor Balaji, I should say, when I joined, he's the person who actually facilitated my transition into IRMA. He called me for the FRS. He invited me for the FRS, the faculty recruitment seminar. And he's the person who handled for a long money, for the first, I think, couple of years. He was closely watching, and I think I learned a lot from him. And there is no for example, when this HRM course came up, I said, I cannot teach HRM, and particularly the labor laws and all that, I don't like those labor laws. So you are asking me to teach. And he said, no, you can do that. And he bursted. When I think I'll never forget this. Sanjeev Pansalkar was the PRM coordinator at that time. And Sanjeev was extremely helpful. And it got me into a wave of not only just friendship, it was a wave of ideas. Every day, every minute, I think it has been a great learning in IRMA. And so contribution, I don't know. I have thought that is for you people to decide. That I thought I always, and I'll always see myself primarily as a teacher. And in order to teach, sometimes I do some research. I deeply look into certain aspects of life. That's all I do. And I sometimes, of course, to have the butter on the bread, we also do some training and consulting. So that's how I have defined. And if you talk about a young faculty member very recently told me, sir, many of these documents you see in IRMA, I've been part of, because I am here constantly for so many years. So you will see maybe some document here and there I might have contributed, some policy, something else. That's what I have done. Okay, Shilpa.
Sir, about this, yeah. So you just said that you've been there for so many years. I thought of adding that it's a well-known fact that you are the longest-serving faculty member at IRMA at present, and with almost 3 decades under your belt. So I think in another couple of years, it will be 30 years.
Yeah.
And moreover, IRMA is into its 5th decade with the 41st PRM batch ongoing. So from your vantage point of 30 years, how would you describe IRMA's journey? How IRMA is evolving. You've seen that evolution.
Yeah. You see, when I joined, let me tell you that context. IRMA had come up under a different context. Our economy was very differently managed. And 1991 was the opening up, so-called, and maybe the priorities of states changed, and In 1992, when we joined, we were all, and in fact, I remember Professor Tushar Shah was hosting a workshop on he was talking about re-engineering cooperatives. That's the theme. And all of us were thinking re-engineering of that we'll have to this. There's a new world. We are into a new world. That's the time we were thinking that we are into a new world. Into a new world, let me tell you, when I started as a student, as a PhD student, we used to use a mainframe computer. By the time I joined IRMA, we were into the PCs. So we had a personal computer. Of course, laptop was not, no one had thought of a laptop. So it was changing, everything was changing. And that's the time, that's a cusp which I had come in. And I saw IRMA evolving from one generation, and we were keeping up pace. I tell you, I think it was 1996, when this internet was coming into India. Do you know which educational institution, apart from the top research institutions, which management, let me be very specific, which management institute first got into email system?
IRMA. Yeah.
And of course, it's thanks to Dr. Kurian. He said, we should have the state of the art. And many people ask me, this is another thing I should tell you. Many people, very recently, I was talking to some cooperatives from Andhra Pradesh. So one person in the sidelines asked, why, Dr. Kurian, anyone I talk in IRMA, they will only start talking about Kurian and cannot. So I said that, you see, our exit, in a sense, personally, I have, in my life, I have had a very limited exposure to very big people. I have my own, we people very big when I say that people who are movers and changers and those who have changed the world or moved the world, very few. I had met Muhammad Yunus, I had met Dr. Kurian, I had seen, but Dr. Kurian some more time. One thing that IRMA always had, and I believe that it still has, is trying to be best in it what it does. They're trying to do the best. And Dr. Kurian, and that came from Dr. Kurian. Dr. Kurian's was that no compromise. If there is internet and if you think it is going to be useful, because he had never handled a computer, a laptop, PC. But he said, I don't know about it. But you people think it is good, you should have it first. That's the spirit. And very few leaders have that. And he had that, not just for technology, but for many other things. And that's why, when I came into IRMA, I'll tell you, very few, apart from the government institutions, all the private institutions wherever you work and all that, there are certain things, for example, superannuation and all that. IRMA was one of the few institutions which had, private institutions, which had such benefits. Okay, so I think IRMA, so for employee, I'm talking from faculty point of view, employee point of view, but at the same time, it added a very different meaning. Maybe in terms of salary, it was not so great at that time, but it added so tremendous meaning to our existence. So and IRMA evolved. When I am talking about from '92, I did one analysis because we had to make a presentation. So. IRMA made the journey. The first, when we are talking about 80s, it was a formation stage. Faculty members worked really hard, I should say, in those 80s. Those of the faculty members who were there, they had to build what will be rural management, define what will be rural management, basic fundamental, how it will be different from, and that's why the main question was always, what is rural management? And of course, we are still dealing with it. when I started the journal I wrote, one of the editorials I wrote there is that this journal we have started that we will try to find out what is rural management, or that journey, but that journey is continuing. That's fine. So I think as an institution we have, if you say that sticking to certain basic principles, I know I'm not getting into that account. There are many institutions which had come up to serve rural, but we have seen that their major plan, now many people there would not know that why they have been there. But I don't think that is for IRMA. That's true for IRMA. IRMA, because of course there are two things. One is IRMA's greatest strength also has been its alumni. The alumni, it puts a sort of, and I am happy that they do it, that alumni somehow or other, if IRMA deviates in its process, it says, oh no, you are not going on the right. Maybe you need to look at it slightly differently, and maybe we come in course. It's always, it's like, when a ship sails long distance across the ocean, there are chances that it will veer away from its charted course. It is possible. It happens once in a while. But again, a good navigator, and navigators are there. We have those navigators here sitting here, all those navigators. They again bring back the ship to its charted course, and then it keeps on sailing. So those who know about sailing would know that it veers off course at times. It will happen when the journey is long, and journey is not very simple. It's a very arduous. It's a tough journey that you make.
So we're coming to the fun part now.
Yeah. But I should not forget the fun of being an IRMA. The fun, and if you ask me personally, what defines IRMA, how it is different from, I say this. Our student, if you look at the induction field work, if you look at the main field work, they go, live in the village, stay in a hut. And that is what, and those, I know all of you have experienced this, those 8 weeks or 10 weeks that you have spent, that becomes not only a memory, but it also becomes a good groundwork for your later life. It prepares you for life. And I remember my first main field work. It was not in Gujarat. It was in Purulia, near it's a tribal area. It's a forested area. But the village that we were allocated, the forest had gone. There was no forest actually. So what happened, I'll tell you. First, I reached, there were many people, some names with whom I stayed in a village, I remember. Nirmal Mandal, Bratin Sarkar, and Tapas Mandal. So 3 of them. And then we went, first we got down at Purulia and went to a club where we said that they told us, you stay here for the night. It was flooded. You stay here for the night. The next day morning, you will reach the village. We'll help you reach the village. The village was 21 or 23 kilometers from that place. Then we were told, next day morning, that the bridge that connects, there's a river and there's a bridge over the river that connects, the road is broken, the bridge is not there anymore, so no vehicles can go. So I tell Nirmal and Bratin, I don't know whether they have joined and they will remember. I said, sir, how do we go? Immediately the question was, sir, how do we go? I said, we walk. The good Lord has given us 2 feet. And that feet is 2. So we get to, and there are a lot of luggage. So for 8 weeks field work, so they put the luggage on the clubhouse people, they gave us 2 bicycles. And there are 3 of us. You can understand the position, na? 4 persons, 2 bicycles. And on the bicycles, we put all the luggage. Basically, we push the bicycle for 21 kilometers. And in between, we'll rest, some village we'll stay. And one thing in Bengal those days, they will first ask, it was 1992, I think it was month of October or something. And in the village, they will ask us, you belong to which party, Congress or CPM? Then we said, we don't belong to any party. And they would not believe us. Well, they must be going on some party work. Anyway, 21 kilometers we started in the morning, and only food we had was mudi. Mudi used puffed rice. So it was puffed rice. That was the only food we had. And in between, in the villages, we'll ask for some drinking water from some, and there are many villages on the way. So we'll stop in a village, have some food there, have some mudi, which was with us, and then go. And Vratil, next day morning. But the most interesting part was the next day morning, early morning, when you go for the nature's call. I do not know, it is only for alumni or the new batch, the batches of IRMA, are they also there, Shilpa? No.
The new batches know about it. I'm not sure how many of them are there. There'll be a few more, yes.
Okay.
So from PRM 40, I am there.
40, na? 41.
Lavina is there from 40. Yeah.
Okay, 41. Great. Thank you so much. Now I'm telling them, because the new batch, you people have gone through all this. Next day morning was the most interesting part. And remember, that was my second field work. So Nirmal and we wake up and we ask people that we see that they go to a field, morning. And 3 of us are there. And there is no shade, no tree cover that you can hide behind. So I told Nirmal that, look, all 4 of us are there. So we look the other side. And then we do the big job and come back. So the point is that we have gone through all those. And Irman also go through all these things. They're prepared for life. And there's so many fans. I remember in one village in Uttar Pradesh, 2 students were getting lifted by dacoits.
Oh my God.
And yes. They had got into that, taken him in the 2 of our students. I think that was from 93, 95 batch. But I was in the other village. I got to know about it 2 days after the incident took place, because these 2 students had violated the discipline. You understand this. They were asked not to go out of the village. They had gone to the nearest town for a film show. And they were coming back late in the night. Some or other they managed it. And it's all tension, all that. And I think those were the points. And there are many other such incidents. I would maybe some.
Yeah, I think every batch has very exciting memories of VFS with you. VFS and of course the classroom. Sir, so to make it fun now and interesting, we have 3 very, very fun panelists with us. And we're going to start with the senior most, PRM 18. We have Surya Joseph with us. So Surya is currently living a quiet life in Kochi, where she works with a gender rights NGO, apart from keeping watch on her 3 kids and many pets. She also edits, writes, and does some short-term projects for the development sector. Over to you, Surya.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
It's so nice to connect with you after so many years. And you were always one of the most friendly and approachable teachers that we had. So
Thank you.
I remember during our time at IRMA, there used to be something called the Biswas board. So all of us, we would keep ribbing each other about it. And my friend KG was just reminding me recently about the Biswas board. So they were the people who you interviewed for the admissions. And I was in the Biswas board, of course. And I remember when I got into your interview panel, I was really nervous and apprehensive, because coming from an economics background, I imagined really tough questions on the state of the Indian economy, liberalization, goodness knows what. I was shivering. And I got into the room and there was this very friendly bunch of people, of course, led by with you in the center. And you put me at ease. And after looking through my CV, you asked me, oh, you like reading? I said, yes, sir. So what's your current reading? And that set it off. The next 1 hour we spent discussing reading, and the time just flew. And That my current reading then was Siddharth by Hermann Hesse. So I remember you questioning me so much about it. And later I thought to myself, now as I grow older, I think that was actually the perfect thing to do, because from a psychologist's point of view, you're delving into the mind of the participant to see the fit that you can have in a place like IRMA. So it was the perfect book also for that. And you've been there, you've been in IRMA for so long. So you've seen so many changes in IRMA. Everything has changed from the time. The institute has changed, the board of directors also, it's totally different from the composition, the type of people that were there earlier, type of people now. Its policies have changed, the PRM sizes has become bigger, and even the students. So what do you think, what is your perception about it now? How has it changed, and what do you think are the challenges that IRMA faces in today's world?
You
in
see,
retaining students?
Change, many people, many of us are very quick to evaluate, okay, anything, whether it's change, whether evaluate in the sense, whether the change is good or bad and all these things. But let me tell you, this, I would personally hesitate to make any evaluative judge, because it is only your future will tell you. Okay, only history will judge you. And that we have no control on. That we will do that. But let me tell you, change is part of our life. Whether we want it or not, like King Arthur telling his knight Bedivere, that old order changeth, yielding place to new. It does not matter how great I was the greatest fellow.
So how relevant is IRMA today then, sir?
Now, I think IRMA has tried. Whether it has succeeded or not, I will not talk about it. But it has tried its best to be with the time. For example, I'll tell you, this COVID happened. We were all our classroom teaching, we had to shift, not because of we wanted it, but because the situation is that we had to go online teaching. So, we had to work, create the same ambience, so that students on the other side, they can at least have the feeling of a live class. The teachers are live and everything. It's not a recorded message that they are getting. And so IRMA has tried to keep pace with this change. It is most things have changed in our life, and it is trying to keep pace with the change. It has also swum against the current. It's most difficult part. You see, swimming with the current is easier, but it has, why I'm saying against the current, I'll give you one small thing. We are, IRMA as an institution does not get any funding from anywhere. It is its model is self-sustaining model. Whatever it earns, but it has to, in terms of competing with the external world, it cannot compete at the, in terms of resource drawing from them, because we don't believe the resources has to go to the best service or for something. There has to be some equitable distribution of resource. And given that, our fees, for example, I'll tell you one. I'm not advertising for IRMA, I'm just talking to our ex-students. We have, in terms of fees, if you compare across institutions of the similar nature, we are the lowest. We, every year in a year out, we are having issues, but our board, our faculty members, they say that we will bear some problem, some issues, some handicaps we have. We know that we have certain handicaps because we do not have those resources that we need to do. I'll give you one small example, and I'm really not spilling the beans, but I'm giving a small example. Many mainstream management institutions, when they started online, they immediately had made a strong decision to get all the best softwares that can support their training. Because everything is in the market, because we are in a whole, in a marketplace. And everything you do, even if a case today I use in the class, we use a lot of resource, a lot of money we pay. Every software we use for online classes, we pay huge money. And let me tell you, at this point, we do manage, we cut some things, we manage, so we cannot have all the best. Many of the faculty members scream, why can't we have a huge screen here, which other institutes have? We cannot have it just because we don't have the resources. So I to take a fun, I said, Daddu is not there. Daddu, you understand, na?
Yes, yes.
Daddu used to give us the money whenever we had some problem. Daddu will say, okay, so many crores will be. I remember, and that's why. So I think many of our students who have seen IRMA in the 80s, who have been here in the 80s, during the 80s or 90s, till about end of 90s, I should say, have seen an institution which was very rich in that sense. It was rich both in terms of particularly in financial sense, I should say, was extremely rich. And we are not so endowed now. That's a fact, and I'll not hide about that fact, that we are not endowed so much because the interest rates had gone down. We don't, those days our corpus earning was much higher, but today it's not there almost. So anyway, to get out of those nitty-gritty details, the point is that there was that, I think Professor Tushar Shah had written a very interesting article on institution building. And I still feel that is one of the best written in this country. That he said that there is a DNA, when you set up an institution, there is a DNA you implant. And if you have a very strong DNA, that DNA, that holds the institution. And he, of course, talked about what sort of DNA it should be, the DNA implanting. But the point is, IRMA has a very strong DNA. Because of its very strong DNA, till date, we are able to carry out many things. And though it's not that. So for certain things, maybe things are not very congenial. IRMA has to fight. In fact, today it is more about going against a particular current, and that's what all of us are dealing with. Anyone who is in the development sector knows about it. Now the core has not changed. So you just look out.
How do you motivate the mix of students that come in? Earlier, there were many who were very dedicated and wanted to serve rural India. But here nowadays, we don't find so many who are dedicated to that cause. So how does IRMA cope up with that? And do the professors, and we have this big personality of Dr. Kurian and his inspiring speeches and everything.
You see, I can get back to what our ex-president had said, and that in this country, slowly, we are losing out on icons.
Yes.
Icons.
Yes, yes.
And icons are very necessary to enthuse people, to enthuse young people. Kurian was one of those icons who had just his presence itself is good enough to enthuse, but you cannot have them for long. No? We are all humans, and we are here and we'll go. So I think it is not just about IRMA. I think the world is facing a problem, whole world is facing a problem of crisis of icons. There are no living icons around us who will say, okay, this is what. The point is that someone who can transcend the mundane things of life. Someone who can say, okay, there's a much bigger goal in life. It's not just, okay, you sell a soap or you sell oil, you get some money, and okay, fine, you'll have a good living. But there is life also beyond that also. So that thing is not, some or other we lost that those icons, not the idea, but icons we lost. We need, we need, maybe we'll have to create, human beings, we created so many things, we can also create. We'll have to have something, but it's difficult. It is. Second, about students. This is where, Surya, I will slightly differ. I do not think when the students come in, every batch, and I tell you from my heart, from batches I saw, every batch there will be some people who will be highly charged. I would like to do something. I thought I was telling my wife just a few days back, when I was young, about me and my very good friend, who is not a friend, not just a friend, is my brother, almost like a brother, Devi Mishra. We started life at 16. We were both of us were 16 years old. We joined, our ideas were very limited, very, and we joined a group at that time in the college, and we had this dream of changing this world. Okay. Changing this world, there has to be a revolution, and revolution is the only thing that should happen. And so on also, and for quite some time. But of course, that got moderated over a period of time. Paths got moderated. Okay, this is the path, that is the path. And then when he first found, and then I found, oh my God, something very close to our revolutionary idea comes here in IRMA. And IRMA, so by the time we come in and things like that, things change. Our ideas also undergo change. Similarly, I think if at the age of, say, 20, 25, you are not dreaming anything, then you don't have a life. You will have to dream of doing something. There are many people, many students who come, they come with this thing that I'll have to change this world. And that is needed. If they don't have it, it is our job. I have had many students who came to me later on said, sir, I never saw this in this way. It is our job, and the job I am saying the job of the faculty, particularly to enthuse students, think differently to impact this world. That is also there. But what happens now? Oh, we have all these things. But at the same time, our situation has changed. Things have undergone drastic changes. And I cannot, well, let me tell you this, Surya. People who had come in, say, 40 years back, they never paid any fees. 30 years back, they never paid any, very little fee. And as we go on, though we are the least charging institute, but still there is a substantial money. From a normal person's point of view, it's a substantial. $1 million rupees is a $1 million rupee is a good amount of money in this country, and though it is the lowest. So this person has his EMI and all that, and someone who is worried about someone who has this, some sort of enthusiasm goes out. But I'm sure that there are still people coming in, and I'm absolute. Batch 40, 41, I can see those paths. Even if online, I can see that there is a intense desire. And how do we channelize them? That is our job. And another thing, just I'll take one more minute.
We have our next panelist in line now. That's Gautam Khandelwal from PRM 26. And so Gautam describes himself as a vagabond, a traveler, a dreamer. He loves to just fool around, laugh, and make merry. And chit-chatting is his favorite pastime. He has diverse interests in the field of education, healthcare, livelihoods, and finance. He loves reading, listening to music, and traveling. So over to you, Gautam.
Thanks, Shilpa. It's been a real pleasure hearing Shashwat. And I don't think we need to stop him. He can just go on. I'm sure we can sit here for a little longer. So I have a very dear relationship with Shashwat, including the man he just named, Devi Prasad Mishra. I was very close to both of them. I've had the pleasure of having food at his place a number of times when I was there at IRMA. And Urmi, has very good culinary skills and always very kind to invite me home. I'm very fond of both his children. By the way, I didn't know that Chandan had another name. It's only today that I got to know that he has another name. So when I was at IRMA, I used to fondly call Chandan as Mobile Chor. He once took Shashwat's phone and God knows hid it where. And I think only maybe a few days later on did Shashwat realize where his phone was. Yeah, that's him.
Yes. Oh my God. You have it.
Yeah.
So,
So he's a man now. Then was a small little kid.
yeah.
I used to really irritate him. I loved irritating him. And then, of course, we saw him in the first term teaching IGB. So at IRMA, I always rated professors based on whether they could keep me awake in class or not. Right? I was known in my batch for sleeping. I was in fact known for asking questions just 5 minutes before the class was to end and then take the class on for at least 10, 15, 20 minutes more. But Shashwat was one of those very few who could actually keep me awake in class. And I think that is largely due to, meaning his class was basically experiments going on. I remember one day he took us up to the exam hall and he said, all of you have to build a house. Now, we had absolutely no clue what that had to do with IGB, right? But that was so much fun, meaning I'm not very good at all this stuff, but it was so much fun to sit together as a group and, try and figure out and try and do some chori from the neighboring group as to see what they were doing and so on. I still remember about the Johari window that he taught us, and that's something that I still use in my work. So I was chatting with a batchmate of mine called Thomas yesterday, and he was telling me that Shashwat got us to do a project on active listening, where we were supposed to go and interview a senior of ours and actively listen to him. And Thomas was saying that that he did that really horribly, and Shashwat was very angry with him. But today, Thomas is very happy that he did that because he says, as somebody who leads his organization, he has to very actively listen to people working with him. And he says that he's been using active listening very much in his work. So hats off to Shashwat that even 15 years down the line, we are still using what he taught us at IRMA. Meaning, as I told you, I was very fond of him. And I would very often go into his room and just chit chat with him. During one of those chats, he told me of a very interesting thing. So he said, Gautam, देखो मैं psychologist हूँ. मेरी wife भी psychologist है. तो सोचो हमारे बच्चों का क्या होता होगा. So everything they do or everything that they don't do is analyzed from that point of view. He said, देखो बच्चा दूध पी रहा है तो we think कि दूध ज़्यादा क्यों पी रहा है आजकल. If the child is not drinking milk, then the point is, why is he not drinking milk? So, meaning such chats, we've exchanged a lot of such conversations, and it was really nice to be with him. I also remember when Shashwat came back from MS University, and I met him and I asked him, I said, Shashwat, how is it? And why did you come back to IRMA? And even now, like I said, the first thing that I want to, when I go to IRMA is to see you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Gautam. And your Mastika Pathshala was my, in most classes, many classes, subsequent years, I'll talk about it. Thank you, Gautam. Thanks a lot.
All right, so we'll proceed with our next panelist now. We've got my batchmate, Avantika Garg. Avantika, where are you? Can't see you. Here you are. Hi. I think you need to unmute. Yes.
Can you see
So
me?
Avantika is currently working with the Alternate Energy and Sustainable Development Group in business development at the corporate office of Indian Oil Corporation Limited, New Delhi. Before that, she has worked with a global food and agribusiness major and is currently also pursuing her part-time doctoral studies in rural energy management. She loves a lot of things: travel, classical music, cooking, badminton. trying new cuisines, meeting people, exploring, seeking knowledge, new insights, reading and watching theatre. So, Avantika, take it away.
Thank you, Shilpa. I think she has a special bias towards me, being my batchmate, and so we have a mutual admiration club, and that I'll leave to a separate time. But yes, good evening, sir. I've been waiting for this time. I'm so honored and privileged to be on the same panel as you today. I think at one point we were sitting on the other side in the class, and we used to be listening in awe as a student to you, and we thought ki, maybe one day, but yes, I think the day has come. And as you rightly said that, IGB or all our behavioral subjects teach us how to adapt. And I think thanks to COVID, I think this is the first time the Irmans have actually come at the same platform, through this. I mean, maybe COVID was not required to bring us on this platform because, sitting across the country, we are actually interacting through this electronic platform. So we can actually see each other after maybe so many years. And sir, in fact, I'll make it more of my batch feedback, in the sense that, all of us per se, always used to think that, your eyes had some special, feature. Like our batch used to always say, the one eye would always be winking. So, our class would be like, Shashwat sir maybe thinking something, or he's looking at someone, or he's about to say something. So that was something we would always, there was always a mystery to us. And then, you'll be clearing your nose sometimes, just kind of thinking through. And okay, so these are just the fun times of class, sir. And then obviously, your hands used to be always in that movement. And sometimes, you'll be just clapping out of excitement. So the best part we found was that your classes were always high energy. I mean, I think, my previous panelists, my fellow Irmans, they've already pointed that out, that so your class was somewhere, it was an experiment, like, in fact, Gautam also rightly said that, it was something that it was not really teaching through a book, but you were actually making it a live class where different behaviors were coming out of students and in fact, even the faculty. So I think that was something which, and you always had so many stories and anecdotes. So in fact, sir, today we'll, I think I'll kind of confide that sometimes, if someone had to kind of deviate from the main course topic and they realize that maybe some serious question is bound to come, so, what they'll do is that they'll maybe put some counter question in some other direction so that they would think that, Professor Biswas will then maybe start talking on that and the class will end. And therefore, so maybe, our case discussion or, that will not come and we'll not be caught. So these were some techniques, we used to do in class, and I know, we used to talk about it. But yes, nonetheless, sir, I think classes are never just theory, but it's also the life experiences, what you narrate of the previous batches of, in the institute. So I think all of that kind of helped us shape our entire experience. And I think so the best thing about you is your childlike enthusiasm. I mean, as you said, you're aging, but I don't really see you aged. I mean, you still have that smile, you still have that childlike enthusiasm, the energy. And I think that's very infectious, because in a class like behavioral sciences, it can get very heavy and it can get very relatable. So you make it the second, the latter. And I think also one more thing, that you never dismissed our ideas. I mean, however stupid we thought we were speaking, but you always encouraged that. So, I mean, this is something, sir, I'm speaking on behalf of my batch, PRM 31. In fact, it's now been 10 years that we did IGB, and that was 2010. Now we're sitting in 20. So, in fact, sir, we had some, I had some snapshots or memories which I've just collated, and I think, Shilpa would just like to play through that. For our batch memories, you'll just remember our batch. I mean, so I'm not just speaking for myself, but entire PRM 31. And maybe, so you get a lot of memories seeing, our batch, together. So yeah, I'll just describe. So the first, photograph sir would remember, this is our fieldwork group. In fact, he was the fieldwork, I mean, for our, we had gone to fieldwork tourism, and sir was supervising us. So he made a surprise visit. I mean, that was supposed to be one surprise visit from the faculty. And, he had come, and in fact, I'll kind of share something in the future photograph. But I mean, this was, of course, our batch putting up the fieldwork exhibition after that we returned. So, sir, you'll remember some of the batchmates. So yes, this is just after we came back. So this was exactly what you were asking me. The Kapti Pada, sir, I had marked it on the Google map long back. I found that photograph. So if you see, it mentions 2010 Google at the bottom. So this is a photograph I found 10 years back, which I had in my laptop, and I just thought that today maybe. So okay, so this photograph of the so तालाब, जो गांव में कहते हैं तालाब होता है, ये उसकी memory है. और इसकी एक in fact सर हमारे fieldwork group से जो बाकी मेरे groupmates हैं, they have shared that with me, so I'll maybe share it here. तो यहाँ पे सर आए थे, अब ये तालाब था, इसमें छोटी छोटी तरह मछलियां होती हैं. But as such, sir ने कहा था कि नहीं इस तालाब में कोई नहीं जाएगा.
He'll walk.
Yeah, I just collated some, but anyway, they were just I had the convocation video clip, sir, in which you were wearing that blue Angvastram, and you were in fact representing the FPRM batch in 2012. So I was just looking. I happened to have that video clip, and I thought I'll share that. So that was one. And so second was of course with Devi sir. Also, we had a lot of special memories. So some of our photographs, and if you remember, sir, our batch was also having that music band.
Yeah.
Where in fact Shilpa's husband, also our colleague from IRMA, Aditya Gole, he was one of the lead guitarist, and there was Ankit, and there was Vishnu, myself, Sugandha, Shilpa Behre. She's also, as I see, part of our attending list today. So we were part of the music band. In fact, we used to sing that song of Rang De Basanti, Luka Chupi. So these are all memories from our time, sir. And over to you, sir. I mean, sir, I think I've done my class participation, I think, beyond my limit today as well, not giving a chance to the professor. But sir, I mean,
Thank you so much, Avantika. And it is so nice to meet all of you virtually after such a long time. And about your batch, let me tell you, I was scared about your batch. I'll tell you. The most scared, if I might say, and it's because of a very different reason. And the reason is that my nephew, my Bhanja, he got admission with your batch. And when he wanted to come, he had got in another institute. And but he wanted to come to IRMA simply because of the fact when he was a young boy, almost every summer vacation or something, he will come here. And he has been is seeing IRMA. He was seeing IRMA. Yeah, so he said, Mama, I want to join IRMA. First I dissuaded him, let me be very frank. I said that, look, it will be very difficult for me to teach if you are in the class. But anyway, so we had a agreement. Then I had an agreement, very tough agreement. And I said, no one ever should know till you graduate. The day you graduate, after that it's fine. So till you graduate, we will not talk to each other on the campus as it is, and very little, and if there is only no one there, and no one should know. Only two people from faculty side, only 2 persons knew because they had seen him as a young boy coming to our place. One is Professor Shiladitya Roy and Devi Mishra. And both of them, in fact, I'll give you here with your batch. So the way I looked at this batch is very, very different. And because by that time, your time batch, when your batch came in, suddenly I found myself to be an elderly person in the sense that now I am having all bhanjas, bhanjis here. and a very, very different feeling. What do I say? In fact, a very interesting thing I'll tell you. Professor Hare Krishna, your project work module was there. Sorry, not project work module, your MTS. So I spent a very nice time. Avantika's that village thing I remember. Then I think I went to another village. I'm forgetting that the students, 2 students had not taken bath for a long time. I took them near a river and demonstrated to them how you should take bath in a river. Anyway, so these things are happening. I enjoyed time. But one incident I should tell you. Life is full of good things, positive things, sad things, and with different mixture. And one should always try to look at also the positives, the things that happened. My nephew, he was there so he was doing his MTS under Professor Hare Krishna Mishra. Very interesting thing. So Professor Hare Krishna Mishra was there, his project guide, and he had gone to another place in Hyderabad. I remember Hyderabad, and there his reporting officer, who was also an airman and our student, I have taught, and he was reporting to her, and every some few days she would change the project, some dimension of the project, and he was feeling harassed. So he rang me up. He used to ring me. I said, look, it is your problem, it is your life, you will have to deal with it. You can tell me, if you tell me, I can give you certain ways how to deal with it, like I will do with any student, but I will not talk to neither your reporting officer nor to anyone. That you will have to deal with. So he had tough time. And Professor Hitesh Bhatt at that time was the MTS coordinator. Avantika, you remember?
Yes,
So
sir, I
he was-
remember
Yes.
very well, sir. So,
And what happened, I'll tell you, in Syndicate 1 in ETDC, they did not know my relationship with this boy. So they got me, and I was sitting in the middle, and these two were fighting with each other on Sankalp's MTS, because they were, he just said that he should have followed whatever his reporting officer said. And Hare Krishna was supporting Sankalp, saying, no, this is technologically, this is a very important, and you cannot change the project, whatever the project dimensions, you cannot change. And they were making me judge, who is almost like that. They were fighting, and I was in between. And that was a very tough time for me, but of course, you will have to handle it. So I was saying, okay, fine, you work it out. Some people will work it out. Some or other will manage. Only after Sankalp graduated, Hitesh Bhatt he fell from he said, is your nephew? I said, he is my nephew. And he said, I never knew, and I was fighting, I was telling so many things. I said, no, what's the problem? We are teachers. And so that's why I'm telling you this story, this thing, and your batch is challenging that. For me, it was a challenge that how do I, that is why, in fact, he got very low marks in IGB, by the way. He said, Mama, your subject is the only subject where I got the lowest, because I would not look at, I told my academic associate at that time, that no names for me, only the question paper, only the answer sheets, no names. So names will be, because if I see a name, it might have an impact. And so that's how it is a very, very your batch. With your batch, I connected very differently, and but there's a problem now. Until Gautam's and all that, they were friends. I could say like something that Gautam said in the night time in the desert. We can discuss on Gautam, you remember? We can discuss anything. But as your batch came in, I became more, slightly
More mama material.
yeah, maybe. But I enjoyed all that till date. Now, some of the students who are coming now, 41, 49, are much younger than my elder son. The point is that as you grow, and that's what life takes. As you grow, your lookout. The way you look at people also undergoes certain changes.
It's so good to see you, and we'd love to hear from you about your memories of IRMA. If you could spend a couple of minutes telling us about it, it'll be lovely.
Yeah, I started, I think after marriage, post-marriage, we started our life from IRMA campus. So
We came with a suitcase only.
I joined Saswat with my son, elder son, who was 2.5 months old.
Right.
So, and then thereafter we stayed in campus for a long time. And so we have very, very, very precious memories of IRMA campus and our life there. So my children grew up, my children means my elder son particularly, he grew up there. His childhood memories are, he always shares that. So we had a very good campus life in IRMA, and all the students, I remember the Holi, that mud pit that students used to make, and a lot of community activities. So these days, I don't know if it is there, but those days it was very lively. The campus life was very active and lively. The Garba, everything was very, completely. Some of our friends, they visited us sometimes, during those days, maybe when my son was 4 or 5 years, 5-year-old.
I'll get Chandan. Gautam showed a picture of Chandan.
So they said that, oh, you do community living here. So, it was a close community in my community was. And students were part of it. My younger son got his life because of Swati, one of my IRMA students, because he was AB positive. And so I always remember that how much we were blessed, and we are blessed because all of you students and in my community helped us so much. So it has been so much integral. It has been always an integral part of our life. So I'm very happy to see you all here. So that is really, really great.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Picture.
There is Chandan. This is Chandan.
Son. Yeah.
Hi, Chandan.
So
We just saw a picture of you as a little boy, very, very small boy, 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, maybe Gautam can share.
Yeah.
In the picture, he was wearing the same shirt.
Yeah. This is you, Chandan, as a little boy, very little boy.
The same.
Oh, it seems that the red stripes are your red favorite everywhere.
Yeah, very similar t-shirt.
So
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
This is Milap or
No, just.
This is on the day of the Anand Run, the first Anand Run.
Oh, I see. I have run that thing twice, 2 years.
We did it as a family. We did it for 2 years. And Chandan was very young, and he would also go for Anand run. You don't call it run; it was walk.
So very nice seeing you all, and it feels so good that you people come back and meet together and share the memories. It's really very touching to have such close contact with your students always. So thank you very much, and all the best to all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, sir. Good evening. This is Harsh Thakur from PRM 35. So I just posted one incident of our batch happened during when we joined from PRM 35. So it was probably second lecture or third lecture of the first day, and we had IGB session. And you came into the class. We used to have classes in library basement because the new classrooms were not built at that point of time. And then all of a sudden, all of us got question papers. And we were surprised. It's first day of the class and we are getting question papers. And you mentioned 10 minutes surprise quiz and negative marking is there. I believe hardly there are only 3 or 4 persons who got positive marks. Well, I was yelling with joy because I got 0. At least I was not negative. And then you asked us to cross check the answers. And then I think we exchanged the papers and on. You said, okay, the answer is false. Someone asked which one, and then you mentioned every answer is false.
Yes.
And that was kind of first learning that whether it is your new job or new institute or whatever, any new day in life, you must go prepared. So thanks for it, sir. And we as a batch PRM 35, we used to call ourselves a guinea pig batch. Because in every graph there is some kind of kink is there, and the kink determines the progress of the graph. So whether it is when the CAT exam started, or the extension of batch from 180 we got 200, then somehow 210 got admitted, then online exams, and also many of the new things happened in our batch. And we fondly used to call ourselves guinea pig batch, but the guinea pig batch loves you, and we miss you, sir. And your learnings really helping us in our career. So
Thanks
a
for
lot.
sharing so much, Harsh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like to say something to PRM 35, the guinea pig badge?
Guinea pig batch. We took more students than 10.
Yeah, it would have been retooling for you also.
Yeah. The problem was that we did not have accommodation, enough space for classroom, and they were under construction. And so this batch, at least for the first 1 or 2 terms, they made a lot of adjustments. And thanks to your batch, because that batch made those adjustments, having classes in library basement, elsewhere. I think in auditorium also, we taught in the auditorium also. We were having
Yes.
classes in the auditorium, one class in auditorium, another class in library basement. So, but you adjusted, the batch adjusted to all those changes. In fact, curriculum also, I think there were some major changes in the curriculum, and you people adjusted. And I think that also talks about Irmans. They can adapt fast.
There is someone here, Mangesh Gate from PRM 35. You can unmute yourself, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
I hope you remember my face because I used to sit in first row, and in our batch, I was the closest person to you while you were teaching.
Right.
So, even though people don't remember my name, but they can recognize my face because of being first bencher. So I want to say that whatever you have taught us, I find your teaching most relevant in my career, or even in a daily routine life. Some of the case studies about the whistleblower, I remember very clearly that you should have a network before going directly into whistleblowing, all those things. So your teaching have very long lasting impact, and I would say that you are the most impactful person for me in this IRMA journey, because maybe I might have same perspective like yours, or maybe your study has more relevance in my current life. That might be the reason. Whatever may be the reason, but you are study. Even a few days back, I shared a memory that you have once in your classroom shared a book, Fooled by Randomness.
Yes, Fooled by Randomness.
Yeah, so that thing has been in my mind, and after 3-4 years, just 1.5 years back, I have bought that book, and I have just recently in this lockdown completed that book. And recently, one of our IRMA stock market group, I have shared that memory also. So in that psychological perspective and many things, you have been most impactful person for me. And your way of teaching is, I find, little bit poetic, because you have a lot of stories, lot of incidents to share. And then in last 15 minutes, you will come to the topic and conclude that well. So that's how you are very memorable part of me in my whole IRMA journey.
Thanks for sharing, Mangesh.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So Jaya, is that a wrap?
Yes, that looks like.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was a really fun interaction we had today with Professor Biswas. A big thank you to Professor and his family for being with us today and sharing all those wonderful memories. And thank you, members of the faculty who were present. I saw there was Professor Balaji, Professor Fansalkar, Professor Raja. I think a lot of Professor Sara was there, and Professor Arul. So thank you all for being there, our lovely panelists and members of the audience and our organizing team for this enriching interaction.